When we wish to find the definition of an English word, we go to a dictionary. While this is also true for Hebrew words, there are additional methods of determining the meaning of a Hebrew word. One such method, which has been previously demonstrated, is to examine its roots, which provide additional insight into that word. Another method is to examine the meaning of the letters used to write that word. Each biliteral or parent root is composed of two letters, and these two letters in themselves provide meaning to the word.
The Hebrew being a conceptual language, the etymology, the research of the language, the research of the origin of words is different in Hebrew versus all other languages. Now, it's a very interesting issue because researching the origin of words gives us an internal look into how the culture developed and how people perceive their existence and all of that. What words they're using. Why do we use certain words? So in Hebrew, we have a conceptual language. So the research into the origin of words is not necessarily a history of why we use a word, but it's a look into why we use a word because what the word is telling us. And I'll give you an example. In Hebrew, the first letter of the alphabet, I'll do this on the board so you can see how the letters are being drawn. The first letter of the Hebrew alphabet, or Aleph Bet, is the letter Aleph. In Hebrew, we write from right to left, so we're going in this direction. And here is the letter Aleph. The letter Aleph, even the name Aleph, implies, we use the same word in English. We use the word the word aloof, exalted, somebody removed from the mundane. So the letter Aleph represents a characteristic of God. It has a numerical value, which is number 1. And number 1 implies the unity of God, the uniqueness of Him. It's one. And Aleph also represents the mastery of God, the uniqueness and the mastery of the creation. So Aleph is looked upon as a letter that represents a master. Then the second letter of the Aleph Bet is the letter Bet. This is why it's called Aleph Bet. So the letter Bet, also graphically you can see, it represents Bayit, which is a home or a house. So when you put those two together, it's numerical value, it's numerical value 2, and you put those two together, you get a sound, Av, pronounced Av. Now, Av, if you read the concepts of the letters, you get Aleph, which is a master, and you get Bet, which is a Bayit or home. So the master of the home. The master of the home in most cultures is a father. So in Hebrew, the formal word for father is Av.
The Hebrew word Av is spelled Aleph Bet. The word Aleph means ox. The ox and this letter represents the idea of strength. The Hebrew word Bet means tent or house. The tent and this letter represent the idea of home. In the original pictographic script, this letter was an image of an ox head. The Bet was an image of the nomadic Hebrew's tent. In this image, we can see the entrance to the tent and the wall inside that separates the men's side from the women's side. When the meanings of these two letters are combined, we have the meaning the strength of the home, and is descriptive of the father. The Hebrew word ben is spelled bet nun. The tent and this letter represent the idea of home. The word nun means seed. The image here is a seed sprouting. It also represents the idea of continuing. The seed produced from the plant continues the lineage to the next generation. When the meaning of these two letters are combined, we have the meaning the home continues and is descriptive of a son, the meaning of the Hebrew word ben. The Hebrew word aim is spelled aleph mem. Again, the aleph is a picture of an ox and represents strength. The Hebrew word mayim, which mem comes from, means water. When these two letters are combined, we have strong water, which is glue. Aim is the Hebrew word for mother, who is the glue of the family. The word El is spelled aleph lamed. Again, the aleph is the ox, meaning strength. The lamed is a picture of a shepherd's staff and represents the idea of authority. The word El, from its pictographs, mean the strong authority and is the Hebrew word that is commonly translated as God. The implication of this relationship between the meanings of Hebrew words and letters is that the words and letters form a dependent symbiotic relationship. If this relationship is true, it means that the Hebrew vocabulary and alphabet were formed together and did not evolve independently over a long period of time. For this reason, most scholars reject this symbiotic relationship between Hebrew words and Hebrew letters.